What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to read you a scary story that I found on Reddit. Enjoy. The story about the shower and Mr. Longfingers. Grandma told me about Mr. Longfingers one night after I asked her about the baths. Grandma used to love her baths. She spent ages in them, the lights, candles, and inkins, and lie in the tub, humming to herself until the water turned cold. It drove my mom crazy, but when I asked her why she loved them so much, she said it was the only place she could relax. It was the only place that was safe from her to relax. You know, people like me who are more sensitive to certain things, we have to have baths. She told me seriously one night, shoving clothes on the bed. I couldn't possibly spend that long in the shower. I'd be far too risky. Grandma stared at me with those blue eyes of here and smiling, and I knew it was time for one of her stories. One of the scary ones. I shifted with pleasure and pulled the covers up in my chin. Why so risky, Grandma? She half turned to look out the windows, watching me from the corner of her eyes. Pausing for effect, I waited, feeling my heart rate pick up every so slight in my chest. Well, she said after a moment, it's only risky if you close your eyes. Of course, if you close your eyes for longer than 10 seconds. What do you mean, why? Well, do you ever play that game in the playground with your friends? The one where someone turns their back and the others sneak up them when they're not looking. I noted, and the grandma nodded back. Exactly. So what's like in the shower when you have your eyes closed. That's what it's like with Mr. Longfingers. I call it a tickleback. Who Mr. Longfingers, Grandma? She let out a deep breath as if she wished she hadn't said anything, turned her head back to face mine. When she next spoke, she lowered her voice. No one knows exactly, Grandma whispered. Something is a creature that attached to the heat and smell would give off their. Others think it's a demon that find a way into our realm for the dense steam clouds. No one can say for sure because the only ones who have actually seen Mr. Longfingers aren't ever going to be able to tell you. I pulled a breath, why not? Grandma shoved closer along the bed and leaned towards me, leaving my questions hanging in the air. Don't you worry about it, sweetheart. Don't you worry, pretty head. As long as you remember the rules, you'll be fine. What rules? Well, when we're in the shower, wait, try not to close your eyes for too long. 5 seconds, it's fine. And 10 seconds is just about okay to be too, but longer, that. Yeah, then what? Well, any longer than that, and you may just started to feel something in your room with you, something watching. And if you ever go longer than 15 seconds, that's when they might start to hear noises too. Hear what? The soft tap tap and the fingers on the glass, fingers drumming against the glass door, the shower. If you do ever hear that noise, God forbid, we'll be making a promise. Well, Grandma, promise you will never open your eyes. I barely slept that night, hardly at all. I'd close my eyes and try to relax, but every time I did it, I imagined a face pressing against my bedroom window staring at me. And when I did finally get to sleep, I had a nightmare. Bad ones, I had them all week. In fact, dreams about these bodies, eyes watching me in the dark, and longer fingers reaching out to touch my Xbox screen. It wasn't any better when I was awake, either, not really. The shower was the worst. That one grandma stories really got me. I'd never thought it was before, but suddenly I had trouble shutting my eyes in the air. I'd be standing beneath the being water, shampoo running down my face, and as soon as I screened my eyelids closed, I'd hear a grandma's words running through my head. 5 seconds is fine, and 10 is just about okay too, but any longer than that. I rubbed my hair first, fast, feeling the shampoo dripping off my chin, and as soon as I counted the past 5 seconds, I'd feel it. A sort of pressure, not a feeling of being watched exactly, but something closer to that. I'd run my fingers faster and faster through my hair, frankly trying to get the suds out, and the ruddy black behind my closed eyes, coupled with the rush of water in my ears, would feel like a head breath, like the silence before a scream. The second would race from my mind, and I'd be so desperate to open my eyes again that I'd sometimes do it before my hair was raised fully clean, and my eyes would sting with a shampoo. But before I shut them again, I'd always be sure to peer out through the stained glass door of the shower cupboard, just to make sure I was still alone. It wasn't long before Mom realized something was up. She heard me crying out in my sleep one night, and came to comfort me, ask me what my matter was, and it all came out. I told her about the grandma story, and about Mr. Longfinger. She got this look at her face when I was telling her, like she used to get with me when I'd made her really mad, this wide-eyed, angry look. Only this time she wasn't angry with me, she was angry with Grandma. My parents' room was next to mine, and sometimes if I pressed my ear against the wall, I could hear them talking in their soft whispers that night. So that after Mom was satisfied, I wasn't scared anymore, and she'd gone back to her room. The whispers weren't soft at all. Oh no, I heard Mom hashing to Dad about Grandma, about the story she told me. Mom's voice floated through the wall, sharp and crisp. You know, that fucking mother said to him now, don't you, Simon? Dad's response was unlegible, mother. She told him there's a monster that'll get him if he shuts his eyes in the shower. A monster. The poor kid's been having nightmares about it all week. Seriously, Simon, you'd be better saying something to her tomorrow morning first, or I will. Grandma came to visit me in my room the following night. That time, as she perched on the end of the bed, there was no stories, nothing like that. Grandma just sat there and stared down at me, her blue eyes wide and sad. The light from the moon outside my window lit up her wrinkled face. You know I'd never let anything bad happen to you, don't you? She said after a moment, and ain't nobody my head, I know, Grandma. You know I wouldn't let you come to any harm. I know that again. Okay, good, that's good. She looked away from me for a moment out the window. You know, the thing I tell you in the evening are meant to help you, sweetheart. They're meant to tone you up a bit, protect you. She passed and shook her hand. But maybe your mom's right. Maybe I went too far with this one. She looked down at me and smiled. But even then, even though I was only 10 years old, I could tell didn't quite reach her eyes. I'll tell you that, Grandma said. You know what? I told you about Miss Longfingers in the shower. Well, I'm going to make sure you're safe. I scared the bastards off. How about that? It won't come back in a hurry if it has to face me. I started up, the grandma watching her face glow in the moonlight, watching her smile down at me. I nodded my head once. I was one who found her. I don't know when exactly it happened, but I'd guess it was about a week after we had that talk in my room. A week after, she told me she wouldn't let me come to any harm. I woke early that morning from a bad dream to heavy thumping sound. I sat bolt upright in the bed. My room was quiet around me, and I couldn't hear anything from the wall and join my parents' room either. But the house was entirely silent. Floating down the hall, mouthed my closed door, and I could hear a sound of rising water. The noise of shower. I leapt out, and the bed ran down the upstairs hallway. Had already a pounding in my chest. As soon as I reached the closed bathroom door, I started banging on it. A deep terror was swelling up inside me, like a cold water from a well, something I couldn't place, and I kept banging and shouting "Grandma" over and over again, even though she didn't respond. Off to my right, I was dimly aware of a voice from my parents' room, the sleepy shuffle of footsteps, but before they had a chance to make to out onto the landing, I lifted my hand to test out the door handle, more out of instinct than because I thought it might actually open. But the door wasn't locked. I kept banging with my free hand, and I swung suddenly inwards, bringing me face to face with a wall of steam. Heat struck my skin. I squinted my eyes against the damp. A fog appeared in the bathroom, and before that pushed me to one side before everything around me, despite all the shouting and tears and chaos of I saw her, I saw Grandma. She was lying naked on the floor in the shower, so substyle the water beating down around her blue eyes, boiling from her face. One hand was curled against her chest like a dead bird, while the other straddled against the glass of the shower's substyle. The failing fingers marks she'd carrying, though the steam still carried the flesh. It was heart attack that killed her. That's what my dad told me. He said Grandma was old, and the thing had struck her quickly, and suddenly she would have died fast and without the pain. That said she wouldn't have suffered. I knew better, thought, even as a 10-year-old kid, I knew better. And years later, writing this as an adult, I still know better. I also know my wife and kids recently me for refusing to have a shower in the house for insisting everyone take baths. They pretended it's okay, and they humor me, but I can tell they don't really understand it. Not at all. My wife thinks she does. She thinks I still carry the trauma of seeing of Grandma dying in front of me. Well, I was little. I guess she's right in a way, but she doesn't know the full truth. Nobody does, and no one would believe me even I told them. No one would believe me if I said the reason. Don't take a shower. The reason I haven't had once since I was 10 isn't because I'm scared from the sun